In today's episode, understanding the difference between the three instructional coaching roles of consulting, collaborating, and coaching. Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another 5-Minute Friday from Eduro Learning. My name is Kim, and I am the premium mentor for the Coach Microcredential from Eduro Learning. I have been an instructional coach for about 20 years, and I love sharing all of these different resources to help you coach better. I'm excited about today's episode because we only have one more week left of the coach registration. It's our 4th cohort, and registration closes on April 12th, so don't miss it. Today's conversation about understanding the key roles of a coach, from consulting to collaborating to coaching, are all modeled in our coaching sessions as part of the coach, as well as our private mentoring program that we do here through Eduro Learning. So I'm really excited to share these different ways of approaching coaching conversations to help you get an idea of the different types of approaches, conversational strategies, questions that you might ask in your coaching conversations. Before I get started about these three roles of consulting, collaborating, and coaching, I want to share that they are highlighted from an amazing coaching resource called Mentoring Matters by Laura Lipton and Bruce Wellman. And of course, there are many different kinds of coaching. There's instructional coaching, there's peer coaching, there's cognitive coaching, there's student-centered coaching, there's mentoring, there's specific processes within these different types of coaching, like the impact cycle. And what I love about the Coach Microcredential is that we include all of these different coaching models within our program. So you get resources from all of the big concepts within coaching. So you'll walk away having a solid understanding of which coaching approach, which coaching model will work best for you and your school. And all of those coaching models use different types of approaches based on the teacher's needs. So all of those coaching models that I just mentioned will have opportunities for the coach to be a consultant, to be a collaborator, to be a coach in different coaching conversations. So you can take these three big themes and apply them no matter what coaching model you use. As coaches, we need to be able to identify and move between these key roles within all of our conversations. There might be a conversation where we start out coaching and end up transitioning to consulting or to collaboration or vice versa. And so today I want to give you a foundational understanding of what these three roles of consultant, collaborator, and coach kind of look like, so you can tell the difference when you're having your coaching conversations. All right, let's get started. The first coaching role that we're going to talk about today is when you as a coach are a consultant for the teacher. That's when a teacher needs specific information, advice, or concrete alternatives or ideas to help them move forward. It's clear they don't have the answer already within them. It may be a skill gap, as Alina Aguilar mentions in Mind the Gap. And it's important to remember that you can't pull out of someone what doesn't already exist, which is something that Art Costa says for cognitive coaching. So sometimes there is a purpose to being a consultant. That teacher might need support in ways that they don't already have access to themselves, and that's why they're coming to you. It might also be useful to be a consultant if there's a pressure for time or the teacher is really stressed thin. And sometimes you might even choose to approach a conversation from a consulting stance if you need to build a relationship with someone. You know that that person maybe isn't quite ready for full-on coaching and they just need to trust you and to see that you have something valuable to offer for them. When you're operating in the consulting stance, you're probably going to give a very clear and concise response using a credible voice and using the pronoun I. You might say things like, keep in mind, or it's important to, or remember that, or I suggest, or in my experience. You're kind of being the expert here and mentoring them towards the solution that they're looking for. It's important to note that many coaches can get stuck in this consultant role. Jo Ellen Killian talks about coaching light versus coaching heavy, and being a consultant can often be that coaching light type of coaching, where you're just providing answers and support without really digging deeper into the teacher's professional growth. So as a warning, don't get stuck here. Of course, you're going to transition between all of these roles in all of your conversations, but you don't want to get stuck in the consultant role. Okay. The second role that I'm going to talk about today is the role of the collaborator. And this is when you as the coach are working in partnership with the teacher. There's a 50-50 working relationship, and each of you are doing 50% of the work in this process. Maybe this will be something that is a longer term project, something that you're going to build together. It's a great starting point for deeper conversations, and it's also great buy-in for teams. If you go into a team meeting and you come in as a collaborator to work 50-50 on whatever they're building, that's a great way for them to understand the value that you bring to that team. When you're working as a collaborator, it's not 100% you consulting, giving everything, but you're still using that confident, approachable voice and changing your pronoun to we. Some things you might say are let's think about or how might we, to help foster that feeling of being on a team. Just like the consultant piece, it's really important to keep in mind that you don't want to take over. You want to make sure that this collaboration is really equal sharing between you and the teacher or you and the team. It can be really easy to slip into consulting from collaboration. So make sure you're considering the level of input that both of you and the teacher have in this process. And the third role that I'm going to share today is the coaching role. And of course, coach is in the title, so it makes it a little bit confusing. But this is what we're generally striving for, is those deeper conversations that we're having with teachers. This is when teachers have the answer within them, or they have something to draw upon so they can build their own constructive thinking about whatever they're struggling with, and you are helping them talk through that process. The goal is for you to support their thinking process. You're developing the internal resources for self-coaching and independence. This kind of conversation takes time. It goes deep and needs space for reflection. So you want to be thoughtful and careful about when you use coaching as compared to, let's say, consulting. When you're having a coaching conversation, you want to use an approachable voice and try to focus on the pronoun you. Saying things like, in your experience, or what might be some ways to, or when you've done something like this similar in the past, or what's your first thought? Bringing the other person into the focus of the conversation. It's important to note that although this is the area that as coaches we're often striving for, it's not always fun for busy teachers who might not be ready for a coaching conversation right now. I'll put a card up here somewhere to a previous COACHBETTER podcast episode with Reed Wilson, where he talks about the frustration of just needing a consultant, but the coach really wanting to play the coach in that moment and not understanding the difference between I have 5 minutes for this conversation and my kids are coming down the hallway right now, or this is something I really want to grow into as a professional. Let's sit down and really talk about it. So that's a really good perspective reminder for us as coaches that what we value in the moment might not be what that teacher is valuing in the moment, and it's important for us to be responsive to them. Hopefully, this short description of the 3 key roles of a coach was helpful for you today. We talked about being a consultant, being a collaborator, and being a coach. And if you liked this, you will love the Coach Microcredential. So I will leave a little bit more info here for you about why you might want to join the coach and what our current participants say, because there's just 1 week left and we don't want you to miss it. Did you enjoy today's episode? Then you will love the Coach Microcredential program. We know because our current participants are always sharing their feedback with us, and we ask them to share their experiences with you.
I'd really advise anyone interested in taking the coach to take the plunge and go for it.
So do it, and you won't regret it. Yeah, you'll really enjoy it. It's a valuable experience.
So I say go for it. Definitely take the coach. I couldn't recommend it more.
So I'd highly recommend it. I would definitely suggest you try and join to really help you develop your professional coaching skills. But overall, this course is fantastic because it's made me feel awesome. It's made me feel excited for my future. It's given me really great skills to help others, and hopefully I can help others to feel the same way.
So I highly recommend it.
If I were to give any piece of advice or message to future cohort members, it is to take the course. If you are on the fence, please take it.
When you're ready to learn more about the coach, click on the link below or reach out to us at Eduro Learning on any of our social media platforms. Registration for our next cohort opens soon. Don't miss it. Expand your professional learning network, dive deep into 26 weeks of curated coaching content, and get your own private mentor for an entire academic year. We can't wait to work with you. Are you ready to take your coaching skills to the next level? Join the next cohort of the coach and make it happen.